then. First I'm gonna check if we're live. Yep, we're fine for now. Alright, so basically we're just gonna do the usual stuff, moving through the move list and gonna try to explain each and every move as good as possible. Show some setups, some wall stuff, counter at game, stuff like that. Some flowcharts as well, if I don't forget them. So, first we have 114. In the open you will rarely ever use it because it's very risky. On countered, the full string will actually connect and you can either go for forward 3+4 or forward 3+4 for low launch. The low most of the time will actually connect barely if I don't backdash. The flip itself though will most likely whiff if you're not close to the wall, so keep that in mind. Yeah, basic 1-2. It's there, it exists. That's if you want your opponent to remain standing while collecting some plus frames. Your 10 frame punish, one of your 10 frame punishes. From there you can go into haze, where you get different mix-up options, different shenanigans. We're gonna come back to that later. 2-3 is a poking string, basically. Instead of 2-4 for the 10 frame punish, you could go for 2-3, remain in crouch, and then go for a full crouch mix-up game. 3-3-4 is in its whole unsafe because most people know that the last kick is a high, so most of the time it will get ducked and while standing punished. The thing about this though, you can cancel out of the third hit, I mean, by holding back to go for a back turn mix-up. 4-1. 4-1 is gonna be one of the main tools you want to use as often as possible. On block it's -2, you can actually still turn around and remain safe, go back into block without a problem. If it connects, it leaves you at +5, which gives you options to mix up your opponent from back turn stance. And on counter hit, you might have guessed it already, you get a combo. Then we have 3-4, Chariot. This one we use to punish opponents from large distance, basically. Or if we're going for setups out of slide, for example. Let me show one. If I remember it. Ah no, it was... Wait, I think most of the time when I land a parry, basically goes like... Damn it. Need to delay the last hit. You go for the flip, then for 1+2 and as a finisher for back 3. That's like the main thing. Or you can finish your combos that way, so they immediately need to guess the next move that's coming. So it's either gonna be the power crush or the low launch. That's if you want to go for mix-up pressure, basically. Hydra Bite and Hydra Bite No are both very good as well. Hydra Bite you're gonna use as with punish or as a mix-up tool, depends. On its own, it's safe, completely safe on block at -3. So that means you can still step to the side, move around, do the usual shenanigans. If you go for Hydra Bite Low, that actually leaves you at +4, so you can go for a full crouch 3+4 or wild standing 2. If a wild standing 2 connects and counter it, you get a combo. 1 sec, need to reply real quick. Alright. If our opponent is familiar with Hydra Bite and the different options, at one point he's gonna see that one option is a high and the other option is a low, so he will just remain in crouch. To keep your opponent from doing that, you've got the mid option. Yes. The thing about the mid option though, it's -14, so it can get punished by characters like Leroy, Xiaoyu, so actually launch punished, not just punished, but launch punished. That's why you have to use that one with care. 1+2 is her 14 frame punish. It's completely safe on block. You can actually use that one for parry setups if you're feeling cheeky. 3+4 is the manual transition into haze. 3+4-1 is her high crush mid launch, so you can do stuff like 1-2 into haze and then 1. It's -14 again though, so use with care. Haze 2 is unblockable. You can get jabbed out of it, your opponent can sidewalk it, or he can just dash through below you, so gotta be careful as well. Haze 3 leaves you at +2 and gives you some decent mix-up options. Uncountered, it actually launches as well. God damn it. Haze 4 you can use to kind of bait your opponents out. For example, if you go for 1-2 into haze and your opponent wants to down forward 1 you out of it, or check you with mids, or just jabs or stuff like that, then you go for haze 4 to discourage them from checking you with mids while you are still in haze. Also, it leaves you at -9. So it's an ideal way to go for a back turn parry actually. Haze 1+2 is a wall bounce. It crushes highs as well. At -13 punish overall. White hole you won't really use most of the time. You might use it in her crouch dash 1 countered combo, but besides that, not really gonna use that one. Most people are not patient enough to wait for the last hit and just hop kick or launch you. And it's very minus, doesn't matter which variation you go for. So if you're fighting against an impatient opponent, they're always gonna launch you for it. Now we've got two interesting moves, Tartaros and Circling Winds. Tartaros is the safer option. It's -10 on block, yeah. If I remember correctly, yeah. On counter hit you get a guaranteed knockdown with a follow-up, up forward 3 or back 3. Down back 4 works as well. With Circling Winds you can actually cancel the second hit by holding back to go into a back turn stance again. It's one of her homing moves as well to keep your opponent in check. If both get blocked though, you're in for a bad time. So most of the time you're just gonna use forward 3 on its own. And you either hold back or you're only gonna do forward 3 itself. Forward 4 is her long range 15 frame punish. You will barely ever use it. Most commonly it's used for her rage drive combo because the damage is quite decent, or after knockdown in general. Stuff like that. So everything that knocks down, you get the rage drive right after. And the pickup as well. So that's really strong to know and something to keep in mind. Forward 1+2, great move. Is a power crush, screws, is homing. For some reason it's -14 though, though it's a high. Ah no, wait, it's a middle. I guess they changed that then. Down forward 1 is one of your key tools as well. On block it's -1, so you can feel free to step around. If you're feeling cheeky, you go for the 4-1 counted. On hit it's +7, and with +7 you're basically free to do whatever you'd like. Then we've got down forward 2-3 and down forward 2-4. Down forward 2-3 is if you want to remain safe. On block it's -3, so we're still free to move around. If our opponent is crouching the high a bit too often, we go for down forward 2-4 instead to knock down. Shadow Snap Kick, this one we're gonna use when we're between 0 and -5, and if we expect our opponent to use a high of any sorts. On counter hit it actually launches, crushes highs, and on hit it leaves us at +7. Near the wall, after that connects, we can actually get our command grab. You know, the one where we break the neck. Down forward 4-4-3. This one has a pretty obvious weakness in my eyes. In lower ranks, most people are going to get hit by the last hit. You get a combo from it as well, if it connects. It's used to launch your opponent if you just did down forward 4. It doesn't do that anymore. So now, most of the time, it's better to fully commit. The bad side on that one is, if you don't fully commit, doesn't matter if you just do the first two or go into white hole, you're gonna get launched for both of them if you try. The weakness about using the full string is it's very, very steppable, so you really got to watch out for that. Okay, let's see. Down 3, excellent poke, leaves you at neutral, you can move around, you can go for counter hits, you can buffer in her command throw if you're fast enough. Great move. Down 4 you won't use in close range, but most of the time after a crouch dash. you can go for that to basically extend the range. On its own, it doesn't have as much range, but if you do a crouch dash beforehand and then go for the down 4, it has some insane range. Also, you can remain in crouch if you're feeling risky and go for full crouch mix-up with while standing 2 or full crouch forward 3+4/4. Assassin Sting. So basically, because our down forward 1 is 1 frame too slow and is not like the generic down forward 1, as a replacement we got Assassin Sting combo. That's our 13th frame punish, our 13th frame move. If we do the full thing, leaves you at +7 on hit. On block it's -1, so it's very good because you're still allowed to step and fish for counter hits or get some small punishments in. Also, if you only do the first hit, you're gonna be left in back turn stance. I kind of forgot to mention this as well with down forward 2-3 and down forward 2-4. If you only do down forward 2, it's gonna leave you in back turn stance as well. Killer Bee. Killer Bee is one of her other plus moves, low plus moves actually. She has 2. One being down forward 4 and the other one being down back 3. Down back 3 we are gonna use if we want to remain in crouched. So we can go for full crouch mix up. Down back 4 we're gonna use after a hard knockdown to get guaranteed damage or to collect plus frames while remaining standing to go for basic pressure gain. Back 1, +5 on block, +5 on hit, on counter hit, hard knockdown into guaranteed down back 4, up forward 3 or back 3. The thing about this move though, it's a high, so your opponent can duck it and launch you for it. Now we've got something interesting. We've got Unicorn's Tail and Deadly Talon. So, Unicorn's Tail is against opponents who like to press buttons. If the last hit connects, distance wasn't right, we get a combo. Who would have thought? That's if we expect our opponent to press something or to crouch, so the mid hits them. If it gets blocked, we get launched though. Then we have Deadly Talon, which is basically the same string but with a different ender. Leaves us at +3. Doesn't guarantee us anything, but it's there, I guess. Also, if we only do the first 2, we're gonna remain in back turn stance. So that's something we can use to get into back turns as well. Back 2-4-1. Mainly we're gonna use that in combos. Out of neutral game we won't use it as much because the last is a high, so it can be ducked and easily launched. If we do only the first wind hold up, we're going for white hole, which is launch punishable of course, so it's more of a mind game kinda. Yeah, back 3 gives us plus on block, +1 on block, hard knockdown on normal hit. Yeah, on counter it's the same as on normal hit. So now we are coming to all the interesting stuff with her. With Skull, basically the different Skull variants, we've got different mix-ups. So Imagine if I hit someone with any move at all, like 4-2-3 or down back to 1, stuff like that, right? As long as I'm at least plus 15, no, plus 15, plus 5, I mean, or plus 4, we can go for this. If we just go for back for 4, which is the quick version, it's gonna leave us back turned at plus 6, which will give us enough opportunities to mix our opponent. If it gets blocked, it leaves us at -9, like the dive kick does on block as well. So we can use that to set up our back turned parry. If we hit our opponent and we think he's going to press, or no, how should I say? If we don't want the guaranteed damage into back turned pressure, because we feel that he's not gonna attack or not eat the mid itself, and we're back turned at -9, and that's too dangerous for us. Instead we can go for the feint, which will leave us at +1. And with +1 we can do many things, but I will say some more stuff to that later down the line. Then we've got Skull Rave. That's the quick version. This is the delayed version. The delayed version you basically want to do to get the low counted. Oops. Ran out of key charge there. It's basically there to mess up your opponent's timing. Then you've got this one. The teleport from above is exactly the same as from down forward, from down forward 4-4-3. We can go for white hole as well, which is risky though. For guaranteed damage, if they don't block the low, we can go for this. Also, if only the low hits, we're neutral, so we can go for movement, we can go for fast counter hits. Illusion Strike and Illusion Sweep we basically use in tight situations, or when we want to get out of pressure. It evades some moves. The one that ends with 2, the Illusion Strike, leaves us at +1, so we're free to mix our opponent up again. Illusion Sweep. Hang on, there was something there as well. Right. You can basically confuse your opponent with a flip. And if they just tried to stand up, you're gonna... let's see. They're gonna have their back turned towards you, and you can get some free hits in if you're fast enough. Labyrinth is just your manual transition into back turn stance. Alright, so now we come to the even more interesting stuff. Gotta connect all those dots, right? So this one right here actually is 8 frames fast. So if we were to do 4-1 on blocking, for example, right? We're at -2. So if they don't go for a jab, we'll actually get that damage still, and it's all guaranteed. Also, if we're in back turned and hit 2 on countered, we get the 1-4 guaranteed. if they don't hold back... Need to switch that one out as well. We get a forward 4 guaranteed, or forward 2, both work. Yeah, back turn to 2-1 is if we want to get out of back turn stance as fast as possible while remaining safe. Also, if it gets blocked, leaves you at -1, so you're still free to move to the side. Then we've got Blinding Knife, which is the more damaging option, but the frames are worse. I personally don't use that one. I always go for 2-1 instead, because I can kinda steal a turn using that. While Blinding Knife, it's like you're giving up your own turn. Then we have Crescent Mirage. The teleport from above is the same as the other ones I've shown. Also, I think, yeah. Ah no, it was after that. If we go for Fafnir instead, and you hold back after the first connected on hit or on block, you're actually gonna phase through your opponent. This is very useful, because it's a 10 frame startup. It's great. Also, if a second connects on counter hit, when you phase through, and if your opponent tries to stand up and stands up the wrong way, which means they held back, but because of the side switch they held into the different direction, they're basically gonna roll towards you, which will guarantee you a free Hydra bite high. Also, for some reason you can go for White Hole if you feel like it. The Power Crush, if this one hits, you get a guaranteed back 3 or a guaranteed down back 4. Up forward 3 works as well. Spiral Cannon is your back turn 15 frame launcher. This one you're only gonna use at the wall. Soul Steal is more of a gimmick, really. I haven't found any real use for it at the moment, but it's there, I guess. Also, I think it was punishable on blocks, well, yeah, -13. Don't really want to use that one. Cold Massacre is quite alright, to be honest. You can delay the second hit quite a lot. You can just hit it immediately as well. Also, if a second connects countered, you can combo from it. So this one you can actually throw out from time to time. Also, if you only throw out the 4-2, you get -5, which will leave you enough room to still move around. Make sure that the second hit doesn't get blocked though. If the second hit gets blocked, you're gonna eat a jab string punish. Can be very annoying to fight against Mishimas. This one right here is just our main move to go for screw, basically. We can go into White Hole from that as well, which is kinda dumb. Demon Knee is our 13 frame mid-check against our opponents who like to press buttons. So if we go into back turned with 4-1 or down back 1, stuff like that, and we think our opponent's gonna press something and we don't want to trade damage-wise, you just go for forward 3. On counter hit, it will knock down a guaranteed forward 4 or a guaranteed forward 2. And you can pick up with Rage Drive as well, as I've already shown. Back turned forward 4-3 leaves you at +5. You don't really get anything guaranteed there. What you can go for though is crouch dash 4. Because if they try to press anything, you're gonna hit them out of it and get the launch for free. They probably won't block it because they're barely out of range, but if they pressed anything at all, you're gonna crush highs, get a launch for free, and do some decent damage. So it's one of those moves you want to see with crouch dash 4, that is. Crouch dash forward 4. Because on block it's -14 and that's... you don't want to be back turned with -14. Yeah, then we've got the reverse chakram. This one we can use for parry setup and block. If our opponent decides that he likes to stay on the ground, we can use that to harass him so he stands up, because Raven doesn't really have any good ground hitting moves except down back 4 and forward up 3. Down back 4 you're probably gonna use more against people who lie on the ground, because even if they side roll, you're gonna clip them. Up forward 3, if someone side rolls you there, you're just gonna miss them. So if you want to play it really safe, you go for flip. Also, doesn't matter if the flip connects or not, if you hold forward, you will always face through the opponent. Yeah, then we've got low combo launch. Abyss Cannon, we are most of the time just gonna use in combos. We can use it in neutral as well if we're feeling risky. On counter hit, both hits will actually connect. If it gets blocked though, we eat the launch. So it's very risky to use. With 2-4, back 2-4, we will remain at neutral. On block, it's -9, I think. Yeah, -9, so we can use that for parry setups if we want. Back 3, if that connects, it gives us a guaranteed chakram flip. Also, on block it leaves us at +3, so we can go for stuff like cannon tail, jab into 1-4 to kind of set up our countered game. Yeah, just to turn around again, right? Remnant Smasher, I don't really use. It crushes highs, yes, but besides that, I haven't really found any use for it. It leaves you at +8, but you can't really do anything from it. Like, I haven't found anything guaranteed after this. What you can do though, if it connects and block, you can go and try for parries again. Yeah, Vermilion is your low launch. Depending on the distance you travel, you either have to pick up with forward 4-3 or at max range. Oops. Down back 2. Also, for certain combos, you can kind of set up the distance yourself. Like if I launch my opponent, let's see. Like that. So instead of going for the finisher, the dive kick from above, I go for either back turned 3-4-4 or down back 2 and then into track thumb flip or vermilion to mix them up. Yeah, Phantom Warp, we already know. That's for Season 4 buff. Before you had to make that really complex input with her, now you get it out of the back turn really easy. Gatekeeper crushes highs on startup, so on moves where you -1, -2, I would say, you can go for that to kind of steal your turn. On hit, it's actually -2 and leaves your opponent in crouch, so it's kind of a weird move to use. If you just go for down, up, back 1 though, leaves you at +5. There was something I wanted to check. Yeah. So always just go for the first hit, basically. Because if you're gonna do the second one and the second one gets blocked, you eat a guaranteed punish, and if it hits, you still give your turn away because you had -2. Well, you could try stepping though, so that's always an option. Alright. This one here is for people who don't want to wait for the full other strings you have with her. Uncountered, it doesn't give you anything, it's always a knockdown. So the reason we have Deathbringer mid is because we've got Deathbringer high, and Deathbringer high, the second hit takes an eternity to come out. That's why we've got the mid option as well. Also, on block it's +8, so great for setting up counters or doing pressure in general. Then we've got Deathbringer low to Shadow, and Deathbringer low to White Hole. So Deathbringer low is just this. From there I haven't found any pickups whatsoever. Perhaps at the wall. So most of the time you're gonna see this Deathbringer low to Shadow, just to get some guaranteed damage in. Deathbringer low to White Hole you can do to fake your opponent out, because he's expecting the... So basically, if you know your opponent is stepping a lot or is about to step, then you go for White Hole. If he doesn't step at all, you go for the full thing. Yeah, Shadow Scythe is to close distance. Uncountered, you get a combo. Also, you use that move on its own after a hard knockdown to get the guaranteed damage. Safe on block as well, and you're free to step after as well. Stormbringer I really love. I use that move a shit ton. So basically you can... I forgot to mention, but with all the Deathbringer strings, if you only do the first input and hold back, it will leave you in back turns as well. I forgot to mention that. Up forward 4-4. So if you do both inputs and hold back, you're gonna be left in back turned. If you do both, but they get blocked, you're gonna get launch punished. But what most of the time will happen actually is that they block the first hit but are going to eat the second. Except not here, because I fucked it up. if they try to stand up immediately, you catch them with forward forward 3. To get a combo for free basically. It's a no-key setup. What you could do as well is to go for the flip, but the flip most of the time will just whiff for some reason. Alright, now we've got Chakram. Chakram we are gonna use as a wall ender basically most of the time. Heavy Chakram we are only going to use when we know he's got the timing down for the low parry to fuck our opponent up, that as soon as he wants to while standing punish us, we can cash in on the counter hit. Chakram Shadow is with a teleport again, basically from above. I'm not even sure if... Yeah, so if they are expecting the low and expect the delayed low, you're going to catch them with that. Yeah, then we can go into White Hole again. Spinning Chakram is our mid-mid option. On block, it's very bad though, so we're gonna eat a lot of damage if this gets blocked. Also, if only the first one hits, we can pick up with back 4-4 as well. Forward 4-2 is our wall break and long range with punish when we are in need of fast with punish. After certain knockdown moves, it's the move we can use to get some guaranteed damage in as well. Forward 4-3 is actually our 15 frame launch, which is an absolute pain to input. You can do up to 3. If you do more than 3, it's gonna throw your opponent off axis way too much and you won't be able to finish your combo. On block it's -14, so not everyone will launch you for it. Forward 4-4 is the safer option. It leaves you at -10. It's gonna be used in wall carry, it's going to be used in combos as well, if you don't want to go for the knee only or want to have an easier time. So it's basically a move you're going to see a lot. Back 2 has a built-in parry. If your opponent tries to attack you on the startup, you're actually gonna come down with the dive kick as a counter. I'm gonna try to show. Oh no, that was wrong. I'm not sure if it... I don't think it can parry elbows. So we're gonna do it like this. So that's what it's gonna look like. Also, as you can see, with the head towards us, face up. So if it connects, forward 4-3 for free if they try to stand up immediately. Yeah, this is more of a gimmick. I wouldn't really recommend using that. As a gag, it actually floor breaks as well, which is kinda retarded, but it's there, I guess. Yeah, Shadow Sprint is our crouch dash, basically. From Fatal Elbow we can go into Haze as well. And if we hold forward, we're gonna do another Shadow Sprint, basically, another crouch dash. You can repeat that over and over and over if you want to. This is used for wall carry. That we've already shown. That's a low combo starter. On big characters, the pickup with 4-1 for some reason whiffs. It works against every character except big characters. I don't know why that is. but if you're fighting big characters, you pick up with back 4-4 and then go for the chakram flip. And then you can mix them with Vermilion or another chakram flip. Also, you can cancel the low to do the mid wall bounce, or you can cancel the low altogether by holding back. So you can go manually into back turn stance by feinting the low and then going for something else. Yeah, Shadow Needle is our combo finisher, basically, like how we already talked about. Hellhound has a built-in parry as well. I remember it being... I think it was safe, I'm not sure at the moment. Yeah, it's safe. And you can stay in crouch if you want to play really risky. Ich really think your English is the yellowest from all of the eggs. Thank you vielen much, mein Freund. Alright, then we've got the Rising Uppercut. That's gonna be our main while standing punish when we block a launchable low. While standing 2 is our safe option. It's our while standing counted option as well. We can go for after down back 4. No, not after down back 4, but after down back 3, right? So if our opponent tries to press anything at all, it's combo time again. On block it's safe as well. Leaves us at -8, so we can go for parries. This move is bullshit. Forget that move. While standing 4 is our 11 frame punish. Nothing too special about it. Basically, if we think that our opponent is gonna step because he sees us coming in with a crouch dash, we can go for crouch dash 3+4. So we can stop him from doing that. Leaves us at +10 as well. Doesn't really give us anything guaranteed at all, so I wouldn't do an immediate follow-up, but just resume the neutral play. Was hast du heute gegen mich, Mann? Yeah, Quicksand Catastrophe is the thing you're... Oh my god, he totally threw me off. Is the thing you're gonna use with Wild Standing 2 together. So it's either Wild Standing 2 after down back 3 or full crouch forward 3+4, 4. Also, you can do her crouch dash while remaining in crouch by holding down and tapping forward twice. Yeah, this is just another one of her unblockables. 10 hit we don't care about. Orbiting Moon we can use to break floors, if I remember correctly. Your opponent can break that with 1. Danke, ich bemühe mich. Undertaker is the complex throw I've talked about earlier. Out of neutral, it's very hard to use, so most people will buffer it after certain hits. After down back to 1, for example. After down 3. After down back 4. So whenever you want to do that throw, you kinda need to buffer it. Ultimate tackle you're not really gonna use. Utsusemi escape is very special. It actually parries lows, but it doesn't work like the usual parry. Crap. It makes you appear somewhere else, and when you disappear like that, you have 2 options. You can either try to whiff punish your opponent with forward, forward 3. Wait, 3 options. So you can either go for forward, forward 3 to go for whiff punish. You can go for forward 3-2 to try and clip your opponent if he tries to step after. Or you can just remain in crouch and go for this. Also, if you parry your opponent that way while you're back turned with this, you're gonna appear behind them. I'm gonna try to show it off. I just hope I can. No. Again. Alright, that should work. So, as you can see, she appears behind me, and from there she can use her while standing moves or her full crouch moves, depending on what you want to go for. Really, really great tool. Then you've got Sixth Sense as a parry as well. That one you only get from back turned. Damn it. I hope the timing was right. I probably need to set that up differently. How are we gonna use it? Let's do it like that. I fucked up again. Damn it! That should work. Oh my god. Alright. I hope it actually accepts the command. If it doesn't, there we go. Alright, so after you parry your opponent like that, you get the 3-4 flip guaranteed if they try to stand up immediately. And the damage you get from that is huge. And that's without the wall. With the wall, the damage is just going to be nuts. Yeah, that was it with those moves. Now we're gonna switch to a stage with walls.
Get ready for the next battle.
Alright. So... I was being too slow there. So, after Hydra Bite High, I'm sidestepping to realign. Going to immediate back turn, back to 3, to hit them up in the air. And then back to 1, 2. Back turn again, 3+4. if you've done it right, it's 93 damage, and that's unescapable damage. That's if you want to go for raw damage. If you want to go for setup, you do it a bit differently. Like, the start is gonna remain the same. But this time we go for 1-1-4. And then we can go for down 3, and then the usual finish at the wall. So at the wall we got different options after wall split. If you want the damage, you go for up for 3 + 4, 4-2, which is this. If you want to go for setups or back turn pressure, you go for 1-1-4. Then there was some other stuff I saw online, but it doesn't seem to work. No, doesn't work. So those are basically also other finishers. You have back 2-2-3. You could do 4-2-3 as well for floor break. Is there something else? Was there something else? I think those were the main themes. Alright, so pressure-wise, if we're talking pure pressure and we hit someone with down back 2-1, most of the time we want to go for back 4, back 4. So it leaves us at +1 and in back turn, and from there we can mix either with forward 4-3, down 3 for the launch, 3 + 4 if we want to play risky, forward 2-4, or forward 2-3 if we want to go for countered game. Also, those hits with the nosebleed stun, where they are holding their nose like that, if you do that near the wall, you can actually buffer the Undertaker throw-in. I shouldn't have changed. So yeah, that's the thing you can do as well. Also, if you want to close out rounds really easy, you can go for back 4, back 4, 3, 3 + 4. Oops. It's great. Did we have something else? I think we pretty much covered everything. Yeah, we covered all her parries, the different one. No, there's actually one parry I completely forgot to talk about. Her 1+2 has a built-in parry as well. The timing on that one though is... let me check. So as soon as you're about to be hit, similar to Yoshimitsu, you will counter with unblockable from above, haste 2 basically. looks sick as fuck, has a wow factor as well. But the timing on that one seems incredibly specific, and your opponent still has time to move out the way. Oh. And that's basically Master Raven. That's that for this stream, and I guess I will see you guys next time. Till then.